What has Dallas Stars head coach Glenn Gulutzan learned about his team through 2 games? Let's find out. We're also going to watch some tape because he said so and go through the numbers as we prepare for the home opener tomorrow night.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Welcome to a Monday edition of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. What has head coach Glenn Gulutzan learned about his team through 2 games? You've heard some of my reactions over the past couple of days, but let's hear it from Glenn Gulutzan. Also, we're going to watch some tape since Gulutzan asked us to go back and watch a sequence from the second period against the Colorado Avalanche. I pulled a couple of the clips, and we're going to talk about them on today's show. We're going to go through the numbers, and of course, we have our home opener tomorrow night, Stars taking on the Minnesota Wild, a Central Division gauntlet to begin this season. So let's jump right in. By the way, please be sure to subscribe for those of you that have not. If you're new here, we've just hit 4,500 subscribers. Big round of applause for you Locked On Stars listeners. Thank you so much for the love and support on each and every episode. And we are just beginning this season. So things off with what Glenn Gulutzan has learned about his
I don't know what you can. I know what I am learning is that we don't need much to score. And so we have a bunch of guys that don't need much to score. But what we need to do is keep pushing the territory battle into our favor, because if you just counterpunch like we did the other night, it's not a good recipe to take out the top guys. So the top teams, you can't do that by counterpunching your way. I think if we gain more territory with the players we have and win the territorial battle, it'll even increase how good we can be.
Love a lot of that from Goalie there, especially about counterpunching and how that is not a recipe for success. I think a lot of the counterpunching was what got Dallas through the first 2 rounds of the Stanley Cup playoffs last spring, especially against Colorado, especially against Winnipeg. But then the counterpunching really reared its ugly head, and the downfall of it when you took on a very good Edmonton Oilers side, because Dallas was too busy reacting and getting punched in the face first. How many times did the Stars have to come from behind in a lot of their victories last spring instead of playing ahead, which makes things much easier, but the Stars were playing from behind. So he's talked about this territorial advantage, this hand-to-hand combats. And there's a lot of stuff circulating Twitter or X today about the Stars doing battle drills and Gulutzan working them extremely hard for that 20, 25 seconds to get used to playing with that edge. And we've already seen the physicality ramp up in the first couple of games. The Central Division aspect of it certainly helps. And 2 teams that the Stars have seen recently, I think increase some of the tension, the emotions of each of those first 2 games. It's not going to look like that every single night, especially when some Eastern Conference opponents start coming to Dallas or the Stars visit. But I would suspect in the home opener tomorrow, it's going to be very similar, high intensity, physical games playing a division opponent once again. But it's all about winning that territorial battle. And there is a couple sequences in that second period that we're going to touch on. But first, I want you to hear Gulutzan talk about Nathan Bastion specifically, and really that fourth line and how they set up themselves for success and others. This goes back to a point I made a couple of times coming into the season. how does that fourth line set the top guys up for success? And Gulutzan has a great answer here, and we're going to watch some clips from the other night as well. But first, here's Gulutzan on Bastian and his presence so far early this year.
We had a couple sequences in that game. We didn't have many that were our sequences, but just go back and watch. So the sequence right there at the second, we get a forecheck, we get it stopped. One of the ones we got stopped, and we get Robo got a chance, and then we ended up keeping them in the zone a bit and scored a big goal. And then we got another one stopped, the same group, and Burns iced the puck, and we got a face-off. And we put out our top guys for the face-off, and we got a goal off a draw. So those two things were good sequences of stacking, good play that allowed us to get points out of that game. So I thought they played well. They forechecked well, and you need that from your bottom six to make sure that they can try to change momentum of a game that's not really going your way.
Before we get into some of the clips from that second period, he talked about not living and dying by counterpunching. And maybe the Stars did a bit of that too much a year ago, but he also made the point the Stars are extremely talented and they can capitalize on their chances. When they get their opportunities, they can usually bury them. And we saw that against Colorado as well. So it's about wearing down teams. And we saw some sequences of that. So I want to bring up this Bastian goal because I think it's obviously exactly what he's talking about. But Dallas gets through this forecheck. They do turn the puck over here at neutral ice, but then Landeskog gets his pocket picked there by Blackwell. We'll back it up. And this is just hard work by a fourth line player like Blackwell, getting back and lifting the stick, not giving up on the play. He destroys this entry for Colorado. Johnson picks it up, and then they flip it in. Right here, Bastian creates this goal for himself. He goes crashing in on the forecheck. He's F1. Johnson comes out with it. Robo almost scored a beautiful backhand goal. And then, of course, they work it around the perimeter. Bastian, who fell down in front, gets back up. He's right on top of the crease and buries it. But this play all starts at the Stars' blue line. They get through this forecheck initially. Johnson turns over to Landeskog. Blackwell hustles back, lifts the stick. Johnson gets in, and then the forecheck occurs. Boom. Bastian goes crashing in. Then you have your F2 in support there with Johnston. Robo flips it over the net, keeps it alive. You see Bastian there battling for position. Look at the bodies in front there. You have Bastian and Johnston outnumbering the Avs. I'll pause it right here. Sorry for those of you on audio only. But you have Bastian and Johnston outnumbering Colorado in front of their own net. And Bastian, I mean, he's all alone here. This looks like Corey Perry from last spring. Right there, boom. Lindell hits him, and they bury it for Bastian's first as a Star. Right there, a perfect example of winning battles deep in the attack zone, and then you create offensive out of it. Now, this is the other play he's talking about. In the grand scheme of things, it looks like an absolute nothing play, but look at this fourth line. They go to work on the forecheck. They end up creating a scrum on the near side. I'll go back. It starts with Bastian. After Foxa dumps it in, Bastian goes hard after Brent Burns, finishes his check, forces the puck to the near wing, and then Foxa gets in there. Blackwell, it's about 15 seconds of just a pure scrum. It's a rugby scrum fighting for possession, but again, deep in Colorado territory. And here's the icing that Gulutzan was talking about by Burns. And then, of course, Rantanen, Robo, and Hintz go out there. And then Robo scores that deflection goal in front of Wedgwood after this icing. These are winning plays. This goes back to the point I made a lot. I was really curious to see, one of the things I was wanting to count coming into this year, how many times the fourth line has a great shift leading to a top line goal or top six goal from your quote unquote goal scores on the Stars. Again, this is just a rim. Bastian finishes his check on Burns. Malinsky has trouble with it for Colorado. That forces a scrum. Then it's just 15 seconds. Really, it's nothing, but it is something. These are winning plays in the National Hockey League, which leads to the icing from Burns. And then the Stars come out and of course, make it 3-2 at the time. And you go back to the Bastian goal. I think it shows it. I think it shows in the clip. The Stars are being outshot. Yeah, you can see here in the top left corner. Stars are being outshot 21-7 at the time. And this just comes after that Stars power play. They didn't score. They had some looks, but they finally got a call. And then they were finally starting to gain some momentum in the game after what was really 30 minutes or so. They didn't have much. But once again, we'll watch this clip one more time. It's just really strong work. And I love Gulutzan pointing that out, this sequence that got them into the game. And yeah, they didn't have a ton of it, but in a game where maybe you're struggling on the road and they didn't have their legs, they battled back. And that was a big goal. Of course, they earn a point, and then they finish it off in a shootout. But really wanted to highlight that since he asked us to go watch it. I figured I'd pull the clips and we go over it here on Locked On Stars. So really enjoyed that, and hopefully you did as well. Maybe we'll do that a bit more throughout this year. Just pull some clips throughout the season instead of just constantly talking about it. I think it's good to have a visual component as well. Now, let's go through the numbers of the first two games, some of the analytics, some of the time on ice numbers, also where Dallas is trying to improve in the defensive zone, and how they're looking through the first couple of games this season. And we'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. It does the heavy lifting. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. You can maximize your investments, increase your savings, easily review your finances with your partner, financial advisors. It just gives you a clear view of everything. That way you have financial health. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code LOCKEDONNHL. Let's go through the numbers for the Dallas Stars through the first two games of this season, picking up a couple of 5-4 victories, one in regulation, which was a butt clincher in Winnipeg, and then a shootout victory over Colorado a couple of days ago. Did want to highlight some of these numbers from the defensive pairings and how strong some of the pairings have looked here in the early going. Bastion and Lyubushkin have been a nice pairing, that physical, bruising pair, and I think is a really strong fifth and sixth defenseman, much stronger than the Stars have maybe trotted out there in recent years. I think Bastion will continue to grow. That's the exciting thing about him. He's still so young. He's only going to get better. Petrovic may check in tomorrow night. I wouldn't be surprised if Petrovic comes in. Lyubushkin gets a rest, but I really like Lyubushkin's game. He actually graded out really strongly against Colorado, one of the few Stars to do so the other night. We all know he's really good on the penalty kill. They can throw out him and Lindell, and they're just going to be a perfect pairing. But you go to some of these advanced numbers. Harley Lundqvist, their goals for per 60, 7.59. That's the highest of any other pairing. That's not very surprising either or shocking. Harley with 4 points. Lundqvist has a goal and a couple of assists. Now, they still have some room to grow defensively. We saw that against Colorado. Lundqvist was on the ice, I think, for 3 of the goals for Colorado. Harley and him had some issues off the rush and slowing down Colorado's speed. Wasn't just them, trust me. Stars had all kinds of issues. It wasn't just this pairing in particular, but the 3 cross the crease passes that Otter had to deal with, Lundqvist or Harley, had some problems shutting that down, which led to multiple high-grade chances for Colorado, which they capitalized on a few times. But Hardy Lundqvist have been on the ice for 3 goals, 4, and Haskin and Lindell have been on the ice for 2 goals, 4. But Harley Lundqvist have surrendered a couple as well as some others. But you go to the Haskin and Lindell line or pairing. Goals against per 60, 2.48. Really, really stinking low. And that's sort of what you would expect out of those two. They are just going to be shut down. And it gives Lindell now a partner like Miro. This is something we've been clamoring for the last couple seasons, putting Lindell with someone that's actually going to enhance his strengths, and not with a Suter and not with Labushkin or a Dumba, whoever, right? Miro will complement Lindell. Lindell is that stay-at-home defenseman, just shut down top 4 guy. Miro, we know, world-class, really in all 3 zones, can do it all. They complement each other so well. They're going to give teams fits. You can trot them out there against some of the best lines in hockey, and they're going to hold their own. And I think we've seen that through the first couple of games. Really, the stability on defense has been just extremely refreshing, really refreshing. And it's still a work in progress. Look, the Stars have given up, 8 goals the last or the first 2 games. It's not great. And Otter was just phenomenal. The only reason he picked up a point. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows as they still get to learn this new system. You can tell there's still some thinking about what's going on, how they want to cover certain things, especially in their own zone. And, well, they got a lot of time to work on it the other night against Colorado with the Avs just wrecking havoc in the Stars zone. But all in all, decent stability. And I think the Stars, as they improve throughout the year, you're going to see them really grow in their defensive zone and hopefully cut down some of those looks Oettinger has had to face here in the early going. Now just some of the time on ice numbers, because this has been interesting. Roope Hintz leads all forwards with 41 minutes. Johnston is behind him closely, and then Mikko is at 40 as well. I would not expect Roope to stay there very long. Special teams has had a bit of a factor in that, and Roope has spent some time on the PK since the Stars have already faced 9 power plays. They're 8 for 9 on the year on the PK, so they're picking up right where they left off last year. The power play is 1 for 7. They're still a work in progress on that side of things, special teams. But I would suspect Rope is going to fall a bit. Robo is going to increase. Robo doesn't kill penalties. You don't see Rantanen do that as well. But again, the Stars' best players are playing a lot. And that's why I've touched on not worrying about where Robo is on the depth chart or in the line combinations, just because the Stars' best players are going to play. And Johnston's a great example of that, although he does compete on all sides of the game, right? Power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5, 4-on-4, 3-on-3, you name it. He's going to play a lot. And Johnson has 56 shifts. Rope's taken 60. Rantanen 51. So those are some of the distributions of time on ice through the first couple games. Those are in all situations, by the way. Bastian's played the least. Bork hasn't played a ton, but also I think that is due to the special teams kind of situation. Like, that's just been in the box quite a bit. So I don't think that's helped Bork. I would suspect he's going to increase his playing time if they can stay out of the box a bit more. They want to be more balanced, I would suspect, especially early on. You don't want to ride guys too early, although they do have their legs and they're the freshest, but they would like to be in the box a bit less. Of course, every team would, and that way they can play a little bit more balanced of attack. And that being said, sort of back to the Robertson point with Johnson and Bork, we haven't seen that line a ton. I know they've started together and they play a couple of shifts, but Gulutzan has shuffled a lot. we saw Rantanen, Hintz, and Robo for, I think, 7.5 minutes in that game against Colorado. It was the most amount of time they had in the game. They just kind of immediately went away from that trio, and they moved Robo around. Steele's been moved around a bit. Steele, again, in practice, has been playing with Rantanen and Hintz, but that has been shifted around. We've seen a lot. Steele has been dropped down to play with Bork some. Steele has played with Sagan in Duchesne. So there's been a lot of shuffling, which is to be expected. But that top line for Dallas with Robo, Hintz, and Rantanen, 3 goals for, no goals against. So yeah, they've looked really good, which is no surprise. So they're creating chances, and they're going to make teams pay. They I think will continue to be put together. That was a line I thought coming into the year they were just going to kind of put together and see how it plays out. And they've sort of done that at points in the first 2 games. We'll see if they become exclusive with one another. But again, the Stars have a lot of versatility. That's what's nice about Dallas right now. And even with the Ben injury, like, they got guys filling in to roles that they may have not been able to play in the past or have maybe never played. And so far, they've looked really good. So that's a look through the numbers here through the first 2 games. If you want to look at the overall numbers at even strength, the expected goals for 3.86 and 4.16 expected goals against. So they still have some things to tighten up defensively, of course, but goaltending is a great equalizer, and we saw that against Colorado. Now, the home opener for the Stars against Minnesota. We'll tell you some of the schedules that the Stars have planned. Of course, the green carpet they always do. Not going to get into the Wild too much today. We'll talk a little bit, but that's going to be more of a tomorrow thing, and break down Kaprizov, the $17 million man, what the Stars have to face against the Wild tomorrow night. But let's just get ready for this home opener for the Stars, and we'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here. FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put $5 down. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. FanDuel gives you so many ways to play. You can build parlays. You can try player props, even follow the live lines during the games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or just love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. It's not just football anymore, right, folks? We have postseason baseball, ALCS, NLCS, Seattle with a 3-1 victory over Toronto yesterday. We have hockey again, hockey all day today on a Monday. We got games kicking off at 11 o'clock in the morning because the NHL really doesn't know how to schedule anything. But I digress. FanDuel, though, does, and that's where you can have some fun. Again, $5, first $5 bet, you win $300 in bonus bets used across the app. So visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Did want to share some information about the Dallas Stars home opener in case any of you are making your way out to the American Airlines Center tomorrow. Prior to the game, there will be a victory green carpet walk presented by Toyota on PNC Plaza, located to the south of the American Airlines Center. The carpet will get rolling at about 5:30 p.m. Fans will have the opportunity to welcome them into the arena. The pregame event is free and open to the public. Fans can start lining up to watch the carpet walk beginning at 4 p.m. So if you want to get out there early, have some fun, you can get out to PNC Plaza opening at 4. The green carpet walk, victory green carpet walk, will kick off at 5:30. And, of course, be in your seats at 8 o'clock. This is a nationally televised game, 8:30 against the Wild. There's a magnet schedule giveaway as well, which will be very, very cool. So it will be on ESPN, but of course you can always listen to Josh and Razor on the call on the ticket if you would like. So looking forward to that. Minnesota, they come in with a couple of big wins. They lost pretty big to Columbus, but we sort of know the usual cast of characters. You got Kaprizov, Boldy, Gustafsson, really strong netminder. I'm suspecting a pretty highly contested, low scoring contest. 2-1, 3-2, probably the final score. Although early on, you never know with some teams. Sometimes the scores can be a bit inflated just since both sides are kind of figuring it out. The Stars are certainly in that category, but can't wait to kick things off at home. The Stars feel like they're almost ahead of schedule. Like, you got 4 points against 2 really good teams, man. If you can take this one, you'll be rocking and rolling to kick off the year. A few housekeeping details I forgot to bring up the other night. I did want to congratulate Jake Oettinger on his 150th career win against Winnipeg, the fastest U.S.-born goalie to reach that milestone, 150 career wins. I believe it's in, 260-something starts. So did want to praise Jake because the Stars have a good one, man. And it's nice to have a franchise goaltender like him. 253 games. So even better than I originally thought. Blackwell played in his 300th game the other night as well. So the milestones are already rolling. Jamie Benn is trying to get that elusive 400th career goal that he had a couple of times, but it got taken away a couple of times as well. So he's in search of that. Of course, we're not going to see that for maybe about a month or so. Still, no further update on him from the last time we got one. He, of course, was at practice. He's back home now, which is good, and rehabbing, and that's good stuff. But can't wait for the home opener. Going to be a fun one. Tomorrow, we'll really kind of dive into the Wild and discuss them a bit more in depth and what to expect for that contest. But did want to share some of the information. If you are making your way out to the AC, if you are, have fun, be safe, enjoy it, and hopefully Stars pick up a win for y'all in the opener. So that's gonna do it for today's episode of Locked On Stars. Went through a lot. I was a bit all over the place, but did a little bit something new with some of the clips. Maybe we'll do that a bit more consistently throughout this season because it is fun, and it's easier to kind of explain and describe when you get to watch it. Visual aids are nice. We're going to watch the tape. Put on the tape, baby, right? That's what it's all about. All right, Stars fans, have a great rest of your Monday. There's hockey all day long, so I'm sure many of you are enjoying your day at work watching some hockey. Stars hockey returns tomorrow, of course. We'll be back to break that down, previewing the Wild, and kick off the home opener and continue a great week of Locked On Stars. So have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next episode. So long, Stars fans.